Hey, hey, hey. Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yes, welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So tonight is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. This is episode 559 of the Daily Dope. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out this is just a very, very casual live stream. We hang out, we mainly talk about tabletop gaming. So we chat about latest in board games, card games, miniatures games, role-playing games, you name it. If you're playing it on your tabletop, we are probably talking about it here on the Daily Dope. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about PC games, sometimes a little pop culture. For the most part, it's all tabletop gaming. Of course, do want to mention that if you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And of course, if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that notification bell, because not only will it let you know when the Daily Dope streams live right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights, it'll also let you know when I upload my latest reviews, such as today's review of Alien, the role-playing game starter set from Free League Publishing. I know there were quite a few people who were looking forward to checking this out, and my review is up. So there you have it. Very nice. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, also want to point out that this is a live stream, so that means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do pay attention to chat. So if you'd like to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Sometimes chat kind of zips by pretty quickly. So far, a Gray Day is first out the gate in chat saying hello. Flaming Huron's here as well. So is Kabuki Kid. Yes, Double K is in the house. Happy Hump Day, everybody. So got a good dose of news today. I will get into that in just a moment. Did want to mention last night's show, there were quite a few people who I had mentioned this weekend is my birthday. They were saying, hey, happy birthday. Sorry, I didn't respond to that. I was kind of on a stream of consciousness about something else that we were talking about in chat. And to be honest, it's you know, it's a big deal. It's my birthday. So what? On Saturday, not yet. That's the other thing too. I feel weird when people are like, oh, happy birthday. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's Saturday. So anyway, no biggie. I got a chock full show tonight. So we got a lot of news. There's a couple of things I'm going to talk about. I want to share what's recently arrived, as well as kind of give you an idea of what's in the pipeline right now. Because I know a Gray Day had asked last night in chat if I were still going to produce the video series where I talk about old AD&D modules. And I still plan on doing it at some point. But as I mentioned last night, I just have too much stuff that needs to be covered. So I want to share some of that with you. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, okay. I can certainly see why you're not doing that AD&D adventure series yet. All right. Without any further ado, let's jump on into the news, because now up on Kickstarter for Mythic Games and Red Hook Studios is Darkest Dungeon, the board game. Here's the dope. Ruin has come to our family. In this adaptation of Red Hook's acclaimed Darkest Dungeon video game, you strive to cleanse a manor and its surroundings of all manner of evil. Manor and manor, huh? Hordes of the undead, foul beasts, and eldritch abominations. And finally, either at death's door or at your wit's end, you will have to uproot evil itself from the Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is a fully cooperative dungeon crawl game in which players take on the role of adventurers. Although brave and determined, adventurers are only human. They're prone to the madness and pain the twisted dwellers of the dungeons will inflict upon them. Death can occur, but is not the worst fate. Heroes can be driven mad and beyond help. The game is played in campaigns of 11 missions. To reach the Darkest Dungeon itself, players will undertake 3 missions per threat level and vanquish the boss. Then they will be strong enough and face the horrors of the Darkest Dungeon. They may emerge victorious if they dispatch the source of evil that plagues the land. For each hero, select 3 skills out of 7 before heading into your mission, and level the heroes up to gain access to more skills. In each room, pick the most suitable stance to best resolve the conflict. Then, on each turn, a player chooses 2 of the available actions of moving, interacting with the environment, changing their stance, or using a skill, if eligible for their current stance. Triumph over encounters, resist rampant madness, and emerge victorious before throwing yourself into another battle. Between missions, spend your time in the hamlet, visiting various buildings to find relief from the physical and mental trauma you've just endured. Restore the hamlet to its former glory, and it will reward you and help you fulfill the ultimate goal. Mythic Games has a short Kickstarter video for Darkest Dungeon. It's about 2 minutes long, a little more than 2 minutes long. So let's kick back and check it out.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, it is a festering abomination. Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil. Paths and roads bring soldiers and supplies. Let them arrive unharried. Despite its morbid aspect, this twisted, cavernous maze seems almost traversable. A moment of respite, a chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors. Alone in the woods or tunnels, survival is the same. Prepare, persist, and overcome. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration. In truth, I cannot tell how much time has passed since I sent that letter. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them. I beg you, deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the Darkest Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 90 to 120 minutes. The project is already 300% funded, a little more than 300% funded. You can reserve a copy of the core game as well as unlocked core box stretch goals. It's another one of those Kickstarters that has kind of all different levels, different add-ons that you could go with. But you can get the core game and unlocked core box stretch goals for a $100 pledge through November 6th. Expected delivery is November of next year. Do want to mention there are lots of miniatures that are included in the core box. It's just the photography that they utilized, I couldn't squeeze it on to to these slides that I share with you. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen any of it. So do want to mention, if you want to see what's in the core box, by all means, swing on over to the Kickstarter, which, of course, I've got the mythicgames.net website here because the Kickstarter address is way too long. So Kabuki Kid says that she had recently picked up Darkest Dungeon. It was on sale for PS4 and Vita. I've got Darkest Dungeon. I've been playing Darkest Dungeon since probably about a week or two after it came out. Do want to point out, it was a lot tougher when it first came out. There have been some tweaks to the game. I know there's a new setting, I've not played it, where it's a bit easier. I really like the game. The one thing that I wasn't a big fan of is that you had to actually lead 3 groups of 4 different heroes through the whole process, level them all up, and all have to defeat the final Darkest Dungeon in order to win. And I did not care for that. But I do believe that they've got a new setting that you don't have to do that. So I like these games where you've got these imperfect heroes that you work with. Battle Brothers is another PC game that I really enjoy. That kind of same thing. You're leveling up these characters as you advance through these battles. I like Darkest Dungeon. I think it's very cool. I see a grade A's kind of like, not my style. I'd rather see a Torchlight game. Even though the critics are just tearing Torchlight 3, a new one. They are saying it is hot garbage. Don't know. I got to be honest. I never really played Torchlight. So Craig Martin's joined us in chat. Good to see you, Craig. Welcome back. Moving along, let's hit our next news item, because now available from B&B Games Studio is The Refuge, Terror from the Deep. I've got the dope. The Refuge, Terror from the Deep is a new standalone version of B&B's 2016 board game, The Refuge, A Race for Survival. In Terror from the Deep's competitive dive, 2 to 6 divers compete, because it's a competitive dive, right? So you are competing. Sometimes I wonder if these people actually look at what they're writing. Ay. Anyway, 2 to 6 divers compete by racing to the goal and planning movement to outwit their opponents, all while escaping from the Kraken's wrath. Unleash the Kraken! The object of the game is simple. Be the first to an unlocked escape pod, and you'll escape with the cargo and win. On your turn, you take a single action. Move your character orthogonically. Draw a salvage card. Play a salvage action. Use a character ability. As you move, you activate spaces on the board. For example, the spawn space adds pesky tentacles that slow your opponents down, and the layers space controls the Kraken's tentacles. Combining your hand of cards with your movement allows you to string together combos, propelling you toward the final goal. Don't wait too long for the perfect combo. The board will fill up quickly with tentacles, and the Kraken is always hungry. The Refuge, Terror from the Deep also features new 1 to 4 players solo and cooperative gameplay, in which players work together to defeat the Kraken. In a cooperative dive, you and your teammates, I'm waiting for them to say, will cooperate, but it doesn't. You and your teammates will have to work together to accomplish a series of challenging objectives as the Kraken threatens to overwhelm you. Can you escape? The Refuge, Terror from the Deep, is for 1 to 6 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 20 to 60 minutes. Does carry an MSRP of $59.99. Cool. This could be kind of interesting. Miniatures look all right. Detail looks a little soft on these. I don't know if it's because these look like these may have been 3D printed. So I am not sure. One thing I will point out, I am sharing the B&B Game Studio or Games Studio website address. That website is not active right now. I don't know. It is coming back as I think it's coming back as like a Square safe. Are you the owner of this website? So here's something that I think might be going on. I believe B&B Games Studio is actually owned by the folks who now own Fun Again Games. I believe the Refuge might be an exclusive to Fun Again. Not positive. I think it might be. And that's why maybe this website address isn't working, or maybe they had a problem with their domain name. I don't know. But I gotta say, looks kind of cool. Looks like could be interesting. Something else that looks pretty interesting, probably very, it'll hold some appeal to some of the war gamers out there, because I know it's piqued my interest, and that is Gray Eminence, which is coming soon from Dragon Dawn Productions. I've got the dope. Gray Eminence is a 3 to 5 player game lasting 60 to 90 minutes, in which players take the roles of powerful puppet masters in the modern world, each working towards common goals as well as their own secret agenda. Each shadowy figure uses money, power, and influence to steer the course of multiple factions toward their own inscrutable ends. Gray Eminence does not pretend to observe political correctness or historical accuracy, but rather aims to induce discussion about the world we live in. We also claim that all events in the game are plausible and event resolution options are within the range of real-world possibilities. We do not, however, pretend that our event resolution options cover all possible eventualities. If you find that you end up discussing event resolution options we didn't list, that would count as a success in terms of our game design. Gray Eminence is Twilight's struggle for the modern age between multiple powers vying for dominance, and the players are the power behind the throne to steer human destiny. The winner of Gray Eminence is the person with most progress toward their winning conditions at the end of the game. An Eminence Grise, or Grise, I don't know, it's French, or Gray Eminence, which is English, is a powerful decision maker or advisor who operates behind the scenes in a non-public and unofficial capacity. In this game, the players adopt roles of the Gray Eminences working toward their own victory conditions. It's a game about intrigue, politics, bluffing, and questionable morality. Gray Eminence is for 3 to 5 players, ages 15 and up, plays in 60 to 90 minutes. It is going to carry an MSRP of $59.99. I do not have an exact release date yet. So, Kabuki Kid says Eminence Front. Just listen to that. Little Pete Townsend with that, right? So this does sound kind of interesting. There's one thing I'm kind of curious about. First of all, I'm kind of curious, when does this come out? So right now it's showing an image of some of it said characters. So I'm taking a guess that it might be the actual puppet masters, the Gray Eminences. So they've got Spaceman Jeff, which is obviously supposed to be Jeff Bezos. They've got Green Greta. So I'm kind of curious. So this is not coming from a company from the United States. This is a European game company, which is fine. I mean, you know, I don't expect the United States to always be presented like, yeah, hey, we're wonderful, especially these days. But I'm kind of curious where it's sort of, I can't remember her last name or how to pronounce her last name, but you can't tell me that that young girl Greta is a puppet master behind the scenes. That sounds kind of odd, doesn't it? But this does seem like this could be a very cool game. And I have to admit, that is a bold statement trying to compare this game to like a new Twilight Struggle. So I don't know. I don't know. All right. So Flaming Huron mentions not quite tabletop gaming news, but they noticed that there was a digital tabletop fest going on Steam right now. I saw that as well. I kind of took a peek at it. And it didn't really fall into what I would consider to be news for the Daily Dope. Thunberg, thank you. Thank you, Double K. Yes, Greta, who I think is very cool. I think all more power to her. I really believe in what she's fighting for. But like I said, I don't picture that as being a puppet master pulling strings. Jeff Bezos, maybe a little bit. All right, moving right along. Let's talk a little bit about some role-playing game news, because there's a fresh bundle of holding that's out, and it does feature Shadow of the Demon Lord. There's actually two. I'm going to talk about the first one tonight. Here's the dope. Hero! The October horrors continue as, through unholy rites, we once again resurrect our May 2017 Shadow of the Demon Lord bundle, featuring, you guessed it, Shadow of the Demon Lord, Robert J. Schwalb's tabletop fantasy role-playing game of grim heroism against a cosmic destroyer. In this fast-playing, low-prep March 2015 Kickstarter triumph, say that 5 times fast, desperate heroes battle strange magic. I want to sip here, Jeff. There we go. In this fast-playing, low-prep March 2015 Kickstarter triumph, desperate heroes battle strange magic, which wasn't that an ELO song? Unhinged cultists, which was not an ELO song, and roaming mods of undead, while humanity's last great empire slides toward oblivion. If you love Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the Ravenloft and Midnight settings, Joe Abercrombie's The First Law novels, which are actually pretty good, or heavy metal music, get this revived collection of DRM-free PDFs and confront the void that hungers. Or as star designer Kenneth Haidt describes it, pure, spiky, caustic, red-hot, squirming, deliquescent, Rugo's gonna bite your fingers off, horn-fetid, monstrous evil. I didn't say that. Ken Haidt said that. For just $9.95, you get all 4 titles in this revived offers starter collection. Retail value, $42, including the complete 278-page Shadow of the Demon Lord core book, the Demon Lord's Companion, the Uncertain Faith source book of divine magic, and the fine introductory adventure, Dark Deeds in Last Hope. Nothing is fine. Here's fine. Don't say game adventures are fine. It's fine. It's an old George Carlin gag. Sometimes when I'm reading these bundle of holding offers, I just feel like doing that, like Earl Scheib, paint any car, any color, kind of used car lot salesman. And if you pay more than this offer's threshold price of $20.35, you'll level up and also get this revival's entire bonus collection with 7 more delicious goblets of evil worth an additional $55. What's in these source books? The titles speak for themselves. Hunger in the Void, which has a really creepy cover. I'm sharing that artwork and it's kind of like, whoa, there it is right now. Tombs of the Desolation, A Glorious Death, Terrible Beauty, and Exquisite Agony. Plus, Tales of the Demon Lord presents 11 low-prep adventures across the Northern Reach, and the Demon Lord screen has all the charts you need. And after you get this offer, or if you already purchased it during its 2 previous runs, check out the all-new companion offer, Demon Lord Legacies, with many monstrous and poison pages that cast new light in the lands in shadow. I'll actually talk about that bundle tomorrow. You can score these savings through November 9th. 10% of your payment after payment gateway fees will be donated to the charity designated by Demon Lord designer Robert J. Schwalb, the Wildlife Conservation Society. Nice. So Great A is asking, does anyone in chat run this? Kabuki Kid is not I. Myself either. I have not seen, I got to be honest, I have never seen Shadow of the Demon Lord. I would welcome taking a peek at it, share some videos for it. I, like a Great A, have heard it is really good. Here's a story I can share with you, though. I want to say this was 2 Gen Cons ago. There was, and if you've been to Gen Con lately, let's say in the past 3 Gen Cons, the exhibit hall has actually opened up a little bit more. There was a section that had been part of Hall H. What am I thinking? Hall H. Hall H is Comic-Con. I think it's Hall D or something like that. It's like where a lot of gaming goes on. And they extended it, and it was kind of funny because the first year they did that, the lighting was like really dark. And it was kind of funny because it's right next to the exhibit hall. It's part of the exhibit hall. The only way you could tell anything was different was the lighting, right? And we kept joking around. It was the Dirt Mall, like out of Mallrats, right? Just like I joke around and I call Wizard World the Dirt Con. So anyway, a couple years ago, when they actually decided that they were going to light this area the same as the rest of the exhibit hall, and you actually had some big exhibitors there, Schwalb Entertainment had a small booth. And I was walking past, and they had this huge line. And they had a huge line all the time that the exhibit hall was open. There were far more people waiting in that line than, I'd say, Stronghold Games, Renegade Games, Whiz Kids, FFG. I couldn't believe how many people were in line constantly at that booth. Now, I don't know if there was an exclusive Gen Con release that was coming out for it or not, but I know there are a lot of people out there who really do dig Shadow of the Demon Lord. So this is probably a good time to jump on board. You figure $10 gets you the PDF of the core book, the companion, some other goodies as well. So pretty sweet. All right, moving right along, my final news piece, now available in print and PDF from Arc Dream Publishing, is the updated Lover in the Ice for Delta Green. I've got the dope. Loathsome secrets awaken. An apocalyptic ice storm has crippled LaFontaine, Missouri. The agents must secure a forgotten storage facility packed with artifacts of past Delta Green operations. They soon confront a horror that gruesomely invades and mutates its victims. Or I should say, it mutilates its victims, not mutates. What is preying on the citizens of LaFontaine besides the weather? Can the agents overcome the threat with decisive action? Not if I'm part of that group. Nah. It's always like, oh, what should we do? Or will they doom everyone in the horror's path? Lover in the Ice is playable with Delta Green Need to Know or Delta Green Agent's Handbook. Of course, they're all available from Art Green Publishing. This terrifying scenario originally appeared as a reward for backers of the No Security Kickstarter from Hebadon Games. Basically, a very short description. LaFontaine, Missouri is paralyzed by an ice storm. Delta Green has received a silent alarm from a storage unit in the city and needs eyes on the ground. Do want to point out, this is for mature audiences. Content warning, this does include body horror and sexual violence. So keep that in mind. And there's some gross out artwork showing up here as well. So that is available as a soft cover. It's a 30-page soft cover. You can grab that from Drive-Thru RPG for $14.99. You can grab just the PDF for $4.99. Wow. There we go. All right. So I do want to mention, of course, the Halloween sale is going on at Drive-Thru RPG, as well as all the other One Bookshelf sites. So Drive-Thru Comics, Drive-Thru Fiction, Drive-Thru Cards, Dungeon Masters Guild, as well as Storyteller's Vault. The Halloween sale, I should say, is going on all throughout those sites. The only one that's not really doing a Halloween sale is Wargame Vault, which, gosh, it's been years since I remember there actually being a Halloween sale at Wargame Vault. Plus, also want to point out that the scavenger hunt is going on for all the freebies. Each of the sites outside of Wargame Vault have about 10 free PDF downloads for you. One of the highlights, in my opinion, is the Tiny D6 Stranger Stuff role-playing game, which I believe normally the PDF is like $9-10. It is absolutely free, perfect for Halloween. I have all of the locations for the scavenger hunt on the Gaming Gang website, so definitely check that out. If you are taking part, you're trying to get all the cool freebies, double check it. Make sure that you've gotten everything that's there, because the websites are a little different. Some websites have the little icons, their little ghosts or candy or witches' hats, bats, stuff like that, that you click on to add the freebie, the treat, to your cart. Some of the websites are a little different. Some have little treats hidden on some pages that the other websites do not have. So don't assume that they're all the same. Otherwise, you might miss out on some cool stuff. I also do want to mention that, speaking of Drive-Thru RPG and the One Bookshelf sites, the Gaming Gang is an affiliate of the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to swing over to, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please click on one of our banners over at thegaminggang.com first. That way, if you do make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up to help keep the Gaming Gang around. And keeping the Gaming Gang around is something I am going to discuss a little bit in just a moment. So, a Grade A says Mansions of Madness Volume 1 from Chaosium is out as well. Guess what's in tomorrow's news? One thing I have been trying to do is I have been trying to kind of, I guess a good phrase would be preload, kind of preload the news. So I'm trying to have all of my news ready to go the day before I do the show. And then I'll leave like something open. Like I'll have like 4 news pieces ready to go. And that way, if something pops up or something catches my eye, like as an example, today, the Gray Eminence caught my eye. Or I should say last night that caught my eye. And I thought, oh, hey, you know what? I'm going to add that to the news. So hopefully, speaking of Gray Eminence, I know somebody affiliated with the Dragon Dawn Productions had commented on my tweet about tonight's episode. So maybe they'll catch this show. Maybe they'll leave the release date in the comments So we know when it's hitting stores, because I am going to put a news piece out about it tomorrow. Everybody knows whatever's on the news at night ends up in a news piece on the website in the morning. So I'd like to be able to actually offer when it's coming out. So Melwinius from York has arrived. Good to see you, Melwinius, who's wondering if the Darkest Dungeon board game is as punishing as the computer game. I would think not. I don't think it would be. I would say, because the information that we got about it was that you'll play 11 missions as a campaign. So essentially, I think you're tackling like 3 or 4 missions, and then you hit a boss. Or maybe you tackle 3 missions and a boss. I would take a guess. It probably gets much tougher to finish up those like 9th, 10th, and 11th missions. So Grade A mentions that they are going to watch my Alien review right after the show. Yes, this popped up this morning. I mentioned last night I already had it in the can on YouTube, ready to go. So yes, I do review the Alien, I should say, Alien, the role-playing game starter set. And I take a peek at everything in here. So kind of show all of that off. Also, another recent review is the Pathfinder Advanced Player's Guide for 2nd edition Pathfinder from Paizo Inc. Really like this as well. So Melwina says, the review is great, Jeff, and I think a small handout with tables would have been great. Melwinius, you're spoiling it for everybody. Flaming Heron says, Jeff's always looking after us with all the Halloween goodies for the One Bookshelf sites. Yeah, you know, it's kind of fun. I'm sure I probably missed something. So if anybody encounters something that I did miss, by all means, please let me know in the comment section on that post. Comment on that article, and I will add it to the mix. All right, so first of all, I heard Seth Rogen's a gamer, a board gamer. And I'm kind of curious what kind of board gamer Seth Rogen is. And so we were talking about podcasts, last week? And I had mentioned one of the podcasts I listened to is WTF with Mark Marion. And he had an episode with Seth Rogen on. And they were kind of talking about different stuff. And Seth Rogen said during the pandemic, he spends a lot of time with, obviously his wife, playing board games. So I was kind of curious, what kind of board games does Seth Rogen play? Is he like Kirsten Bell and her husband who play like board games that we talk about board games? Although they're big fans of Settlers of Catan, and just that game just doesn't do it for me. But still, I think it's pretty wild that they're big board gamers. So I'm kind of curious. So is Seth Rogen playing like Monopoly and the Game of Life, stuff like, or is he playing, like boutique board games or board games that we talk about? Kind of curious. I think he would be a blast to interview too. I think he would be a lot of fun to interview. Always seems like a pretty cool dude, pretty down to earth as well. I don't think you get a lot of BS from Seth Rogen. All right. Anyway, so I'm kind of curious. I don't know. If somebody knows, let me know. I would be curious. So Kevin R. Smith has popped into chat. Yes, Kevin Smith has popped in. I'm talking about Seth Rogen, and Kevin Smith is here. Well, Kevin Smith is here, but it's Kevin R. Smith. Hi, Kevin. Welcome aboard. Funny enough, I have met Kevin Smith a couple of times. Another guy who's very down to earth, very cool, very nice. And I actually met him before he started smoking pot. So he was pretty mellow all the way back then. So pretty wild. All right. So the other item that I was talking about was that a grade A had asked yesterday about me going forward with the kind of series. I had previewed the opening, the little bumper for it. If I was going to go forward doing the series where I would like kind of deconstruct an AD&D module from the past, just, you know, kind of talk about it, what's cool about it, what might not be great about it, how you could adapt it to other systems. Is it worth playing now, stuff like that. And I said, well, you know what? At this point in time, I still want to do it. I just am not going to be able to get these out because I have so much stuff that's shown up. So anyway, so Grady says lots of pot with Kevin Smith. Kabuki Kid says, I followed Kevin Smith on Twitter for exactly 1 day. I like him, but holy crap, does he tweet like a maniac? Does he do anything else? Probably not. Not right now. I think he's still, well, no, he's not doing those little tours where he would give like the 2-hour like talks, and he goes to different places with like Jason Mewes, and they talk about, you know, I think it's like getting old or whatever. I forget. I don't know. So Disavowed 92 is in chat with us as well. Very cool. Nice. All right. So anyways, so I've got all this stuff that I have to tackle. So I had mentioned yesterday I had a package coming from the Czech Republic that had to go through some customs and stuff like that. Well, I got it today, and it was from who I thought it was from, but I was very surprised that actually Czech Games Edition was sending me stuff from the Czech Republic, not through like an American distributor, because I believe these games come out next week. So I have Under Falling Skies, and then I have Under Falling Skies. All right, so this, let me explain what this is. Here it is. Okay, so if you notice on the side of this box, let's get the glare out of the way, it says demo copy. So Under Falling Skies is pretty much a solitaire game. It almost has like a Space Invaders look to it. Let's try to get rid of that glare again. And I guess there's kind of like a storyline, and there's missions and stuff like that. Well, so anyway, so Czech Games Edition doesn't want spoilers out there, so they sent a demo copy for photography and video, and some of the stuff is blurred out. I thought that was pretty wild. So there's a demo copy for me to shoot video with, and then there's a legit real copy for me to actually play and do the review of, but I have to use the other copy for video. I think that's really bizarre. So yes, it is in English. Kevin Smith is like, at least it's in English. Yes, it is in English. So I've got a kind of an idea I will mention after I show you the other item. Lost Ruins of Arnak also arrived. So this looks kind of cool. I know I had done a news piece about it. So a Great A says Falling Skies was a TV series. Yes, I remember that series. I watched it. It was it sci-fi? I don't think it was sci-fi. Maybe it was TNT. Because I could have swore Falling Skies was out back when sci-fi was doing their kind of oddball, goofy stuff. No, I shouldn't say oddball. I mean, Eureka was fine. Elliot Miller, my best friend, loved Eureka. But, so anyway, so here's what I was kind of thinking maybe, and I would run this by Czech Games Edition to make sure I could do this. After I do a review, I wouldn't mind giving this demo copy away as a giveaway if Czech Games Republic would allow me to like scan or, like print off whatever's like, blurred out in this. So I don't know. So there you go. So Disavowed says Lost Ruins looks interesting. I agree. I think so too. So I'm looking forward to that. So what reviews are on the horizon, right? So remember, I started off this by talking about, well, the reason why I'm not doing that AD&D series is because I've got too much stuff. Now, this is just to give you a taste of the stuff I've got slated for review, and it's not everything, right? So Flaming Huron asks, can you actually play a game with it? With the demo copy, I don't know. So Kabuki Kid says, yes, it was on TNT. Hooray! Memory banks are still working. Yeah, because Falling Skies was more serious science fiction. I mean, wasn't overly serious science fiction, but it was not like Warehouse 13 kind of stuff like that. That was the period that sci-fi was going through. All right, so my next review is Gates of Delirium from Renegade Games Studios. So yes, Gates of Delirium. I am trying to get as many kind of like horror related or kind of spooky games, get their reviews out there before Halloween. So this is the review that is on the horizon. This is the next review. So also going to try to get the review for Crusader Kingdoms from Worthington Publishing out there this weekend. Get ready. Got a review for Uberreich Adventures from my pals over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment. It's for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition. It's a collection of 6 adventures, 6 short adventures. That is on the horizon. I've still got my review for Wasson, which I might be able to get this out this weekend as well. So I definitely love the artwork in this book. I really do. And strangely enough, I know it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but the artwork in here almost reminds me of Charles Addams. And I know his Addams Family comics were not anything like this artwork. I don't know. There's just something about it that reminds me of Charles Addams' art. So I mentioned in the news that we've got Lover in the Ice available from Drive Thru RPG. So that's on the horizon. Pathfinder 2nd edition Lost Omens Legends also coming soon. The second part of the Agents of Edgewatch Adventure Path 60 Feet Under, which I have not cracked this open yet, but I am kind of curious if this is like getting inspiration from a movie or book like Devil at the Dreaming Palace was, kind of a takeoff of Devil in the White City. Also had the first part of the Devastation Arc Adventure Path, Waking the World Seed. I knew it was World something. Couldn't remember. So that. Also have the Starfinder Starship Operations Manual. Got the Slithering for Pathfinder. This is a standalone adventure. Alien, the role-playing game, Destroyer of Worlds. So I got all that stuff, right? I'm still not done. I'm just trying to get the stack out of my face. So this weekend, as I mentioned, it's going to be my birthday on Saturday. So we're getting together at my brother's. So I am going to play some games. So I am going to check out 10 Gallon Tank, which is from, is it Winsome? Winsmith. It's from Winsmith Games. So this is a light card game here. Also Villagers, which I'm trying to remember. Sinister Fish, that was it. Because Sinister Fish has a Kickstarter for Streets. I think that just wrapped up, or it might be about to wrap up. So I've got Villagers, which is kind of an engine building game as you kind of recruit villagers. A Grade A says, Villagers is great. A Grade A says, Jeff Paiso McAleer. No A between the M and the C, though, and capital A-L. Also, I've got Furnace, which is from Hobby World out of Russia. Remember, I talked about this game from Moscow with some Russian candy. Candy's gone. Game's still here. So I plan on playing this. And then I showed this off yesterday. This I'm going to actually get, maybe even my mom might play this. But I know my sister-in-law, Dawn, who's real big. I mean, my sister-in-law, Dawn, and my mom are sharing a BritBox account so they can both watch those British mystery shows. I think my mom's watched all 542 seasons of, what the hell is it? It's with a male detective. I think there's like 23 seasons of it. I can't remember their name. And we're going to check out Death at the Dive Bar from Hunt a Killer. So it's kind of cool. Looks kind of interesting. So those are the games that are on the horizon for this weekend. So as you can see, I have a lot of stuff to cover, so I don't really have time to put together the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons modules kind of retro look series. I do plan on it. I plan on it in the future, but when I announced I was going to do that, I didn't have a ton of stuff in the queue for review. This is not everything. There are other items as well that do need to be reviewed. So I have pointed out in the past, I am always, as I bump the mic, smack myself in the head with it. I am always on the lookout for RPG reviewers. We had one of our, I don't want to say constant viewer because they're not on hanging out a lot, but they do show up in chat for the Daily Dope. They had offered, they were interested, and then they were like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, okay, you don't want free RPG PDFs, that's fine. But I am always on the lookout, especially if somebody is interested in doing some Paizo reviews of some of the adventures, because I'm actually getting both the physical copies as well as PDFs. So Melwinia says, don't forget to sleep, Jeff. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know. So who popped in? Somebody popped in here in a chat that I did not say hello to. I think it was Cameron. So Flaming Heron says, leave enough time to breathe, Jeff. I will. Yes, it was Cameron F. popping in. Good to see you, Cameron. Welcome aboard. All right, so last thing before I wrap up. As far as keeping the gaming gang around, as I mentioned before, not having Gen Con affected a lot of companies out there. So there are a lot of companies that they're not publicly stating this, but they're not in great shape. So also, when I go to Gen Con, I tend to bring a bunch of games that are never going to see the light of game. I bring a lot of games that are never going to see the light of game again. I tend to bring a lot of games that are never going to see the light of day again with the gaming gang. It's just, they're games that we thought, maybe we liked them, but they took a long time to play, or just, whatever. Or maybe they're just okay. So I usually take them to the auction, and gotta be honest, every auction I usually clear after I deduct my hotel and expenses and stuff like that for Gen Con. I usually clear about $2,000. Well, obviously enough, that didn't happen this year. So financially, I don't know. I have no idea. So what I am considering doing, I'm considering doing two things. One, what was it, about a year ago? Maybe a little more than a year ago, I did an auction where I shared a bunch of the different stuff that but I was looking to, just, give to a good get to a good home, right? Just because we're not going to play it doesn't mean it's a bad game. There's a lot of stuff I've got that would see the light of day a lot from other people. So I'm considering maybe doing an auction, doing it on the website, and just kind of listing what I've got, maybe 50 games, put together maybe 50 games or something like that. And people can just comment, if they're, oh, hey, Jeff, I'm interested in this, this, this. And I'll put kind of give you an idea of what the asking price would be. Usually what I do is like half MSRP because, I mean, a lot of this stuff, it's just been played once. Well, I should say once, 3 times. There's been a few games it's only once because they're not very good, but they're not beat up by any stretch of the imagination. I make sure that when we're playing stuff, people respect the property. So I'm kind of bouncing around doing that. Other item that I'm thinking of doing is, I know people are always like, Jeff, how come you don't do a Patreon? And I did a Patreon a few years back, and then they changed their deal. And I've mentioned this before, and they started charging people, patrons, more money. And it was ridiculous. And I was like, no way, forget it. I'm like, I wasn't pulling in tons anyway in the Patreon, but it was like, people shouldn't be paying $2 for me to get $1. It was like, get out of here. So what I might consider doing is doing something through, I don't know, like PayPal Me or something. It's like, do kind of a subscription thing like that. I don't know. I'm considering, I can always do some like private videos and things. I don't necessarily want to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm bouncing ideas around because financially, after the first of the year, yowza, all those nickels, dimes, and quarters adding up, tain't gonna be enough. But they, I don't want to be sitting here like give. No, because you know what? There's too many ass clowns out there doing that, right? Anyway, so that is it for tonight's show. Once again, let me remind you, if you like this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that notification bell, because not only will it inform you when the Daily Dope streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, it'll also tell you when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming Gates of Delirium review. It's madness. So if you were watching live, very much appreciate it. Thank you very kindly for keeping me company, so I'm not sitting there just babbling off into the ether. Also, if you're watching live, you should be giving this show a thumbs up. Hang out and chat. You don't even give the show a thumbs up. What's wrong with you people? Not all of you, but there's a few of you out there. I know who you are. Of course, if you watch after the fact, maybe you're even watching on Memorex. I appreciate that as well. In fact, I love the fact that anybody out there takes some time to watch this knucklehead pontificate in front of the camera. So I will be back tomorrow. Everybody enjoy the rest of your hump day evening / Thursday morning. And of course, as I've been pointing out and wishing everyone during this never-ending pandemic, and it just keeps getting worse, please be smart and stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, you're still here. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, click right here. And of course, if you want to see one of the latest episodes of the Daily Dope, click right on up here. And if you want to roll the dice, take your chances, see what YouTube thinks you might like from the channel, give a click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and I'll see you next time.